All righty. Good afternoon, Forex friends. Welcome into the big On the Spot program in HD. I am your host, Tony Marino, and we are proud to kick off another Elite Trader Week this week with an outstanding face in the Forex community. Chris Laurie is fund manager for Seaview Capital, and he's here to shed some light on the exciting and lucrative foreign exchange markets and also why some traders have a hard time being successful. He also joins Chief Currency Strategist Blake Morrow. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Tony.
Blakester. Chris, welcome aboard. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciated the emails that you sent in last week. Chris actually emailed in on the closing bell.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And so you were listening to George.
I was listening to George, and of course, I just had to, let him know that I appreciate his motocross exploits and the prowess and the tenacity that's required.
We'll get into that a little bit later because Chris is also an Olympic athlete, which, we want to talk about at some point.
Absolutely.
And Blake, you're feeling better. Good to have you back.
Thanks. It's nice to be back.
All right, as we get rolling, gang, Chris, you are obviously a new face here on Wise Trade TV, a contributor to us now from MB Trading. Let's talk a little bit about who you are exactly and how you got to where you're at.
You bet. I always knew I wanted to be in the financial industry. From the time I was before I became a teenager, I come from a family of 8 kids. We'd sit at the dinner table, elbow to elbow.
It didn't take long for you to realize you need to make some money.
Exactly. Well, my dad would actually pull out the Wall Street Journal each day and show us some of the market and the indices correlations and give us lectures on financial prudence. And I grew up in an environment where we never received any money if we wanted something, and not even one nickel, and so we had to go and work for it. And my dad would teach us how to work for it. But he really focused on helping us to understand the financial markets as a whole and some of the economics that were going on in the marketplace and correlations and so forth. And I was very interested to my dad's pride, and from there I started kind of dabbling a little bit in some equities in my late teens, and I always maintained a very strong interest. Knew I always wanted to be in the financial sector, and I'm not much of a salesperson, so when it came time to make that decision after my last Olympic Games in 1998, when it came time to make the decision as to what aspect I wanted to focus on, it was FX. And so it took some time out took the time out, which is a very important point, took the time out to learn the business, and I studied it from all aspects, from the analysis and from a technical standpoint. And then I took on a mentor and a partner, and we ended up managing funds together, and just kind of grew.
So and that's what I was going to say. In 10, 11 years, you've pretty much come full circle now because you manage funds, you teach people, right?
Yes.
You trade for yourself.
Yeah, probably one of the healthiest things that I did was to go out into the retail marketplace and start to work with other traders. Number one, it's refreshing. A lot of people will ask you, why do you bother to take the time out to go in and work with other traders? Well, I say spend 6-7 years sitting all by yourself in an office staring at screens, and you'll know why. And also, I don't have any dependents. I don't have a dog as a dependent. I don't have any persons as dependents. So I'm on my own. I've got a lot of time to do so, and it's a real pleasure because a lot of my best friends have come from the FX and the financial sector now.
Prior to dedicating your life to the Forex, you dedicated your life to the Olympic sport of bobsledding. So I guess so far up to this point of your life, you haven't had much time, right?
Well, no, and bobsleigh is a good sport, a good environment to destroy relationships. Right. Because you're traveling all over the world, it's intense, you focus on yourself, all that matters is winning, all that matters is me, and of course,
you're out in the cold 12, 14 hours a day. You're
out in the cold, freezing your arse off 14 hours a day, and but it requires discipline to the highest degree, a lot of work, a lot of attention to detail. Your body is your business, and so there's a whole academic, psychological, and business aspect to bobsledding as in trading.
Well, I was going to say you probably took a lot of those traits and you applied them directly into the markets.
What was really interesting was when I began to develop as a trader. What I found was that I seemed as though on a psychological level, in terms of assessing a situation, managing the risk, and establishing an exact plan as to how you want to achieve what you want to achieve your goals, and what it's going to require of you. Almost absolute parallel similarities, except you just have to convert those character traits into the trading arena.
Sure.
So now that you're in the trading arena, well, now what do I need to do? I need to understand the market, and I need to understand it really, really well. And I need to find my edge, my niche, my micro component where I have the ability to extract money from the market based on my uniqueness.
Well, you know, you were talking about how you jumped in the forex market in '98, and so what led you to the forex market versus equities or options, or what really got your attention?
Well, I think like anybody, when you get whacked in the equities market, I mean, take a complete shellacking, but because coming from amateur sport, you don't have a lot of money, and I found, after doing a lot of study, I found that the FX market had a lot of opportunity. I understood it and I connected with it because I had done a lot of travel in my sporting days, and I understand the whole concept of foreign exchange and having lived on a border town and all that. And it really appealed to me, again, both from a fundamental standpoint and understanding the core economics from a macro as well as a micro standpoint, and as well the technicals and the efficiency of the market are more technically friendly, in my view, and you can adapt certain patterns in the marketplace more suitable to my persona, and so that appealed to me, and I was able to find my niche.
Well, wouldn't you say? I mean, just with that one statement about the market and its patterns, one thing that makes this market unique, in my opinion, is the liquidity factor. When you have so many traders worldwide trading this massive exchange, where in equities you might get a little how should I say it? Well, lack of liquidity. You can get certain market makers that could push stocks around in certain directions, where you're not going to find that so much in currencies.
The efficiencies in the currencies market, I find that because in our managed funds, a lot of the trading is unleveraged, which is a concept that a lot of the retail market is kind of unfamiliar with. Sure. But we trade, so when we're trading unleveraged and we look at the volatility of FX pairs or a specific currency, the volatility in comparison to equities is considerably less. So in my view, the FX marketplace is probably one of the least risky or the least risky asset class. It's the leverage that's risky, and we can talk about that in more detail, because
I was going to say,
a number that's.
And I would imagine there are probably some people right now that find that statement surprising for you to say it's the least risky market, but it's the leverage that is risky and not really the market itself, right?
Yeah, and I can stand up in front of a group of 500 people and I'll say, finish this sentence. The forex market is, and they'll say, risky.
Right.
Right.
But it's actually the least risky. But we can actually talk about that in the maybe.
I want to let everybody know that we are open for phone calls. If you have any questions about anything that Chris says through the course of the program, pick up the phone, toll free, 866-988-9493. Or you, as always, can send us an email, trader@wisetradetv.com. Chris will be with us for the whole hour, and we'll take some questions. And Chris, some traders seem to jump right in and have success in trading. And maybe you did right in the beginning, maybe you didn't in the beginning, but I mean, what is it that brings early success to some people and such difficulty in the beginning for other people?
Yeah. I don't so much want to use myself in this example because I believe that my psychological profile was developed through 14 years in bobsledding, but in sport over an entire lifetime. So